Oh.
Little Nicky has a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics hate it. Some people even consider this to be one of the worst films ever made. And yet, I love this movie. It's stupid, it's tasteless, it looks terrible, and I think it's Adam Sandler's most interesting film. So, how's it going? This is Bad Movies of the Day, of Instagram gimmick page fame, where I willingly admit to having awful taste. Firstly, I just wanted to wish everybody a very belated Happy New Year. I hope it's been going well for each and every one of you. I spend a lot of time talking about bad movies, which usually leads people to assume I only enjoy things ironically. But that's not really true. There are a lot of movies I genuinely like, despite knowing full well that they're considered bad. So today, I wanted to talk about bad movies I actually adore. And I couldn't start with anything other than Little Nicky. I wanted to get the very obvious movie out of the way first. The whole inspiration of my page is Little Nicky, a film released in 2000 which stars Adam Sandler as the titular main character. It's currently sitting at 5.3 on IMDb and has a 21% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I am self-aware enough to understand why this is called a bad movie. Some of the jokes are dumb, tasteless, and definitely don't age well after 26 years. You have gags like a certain historical leader of Germany having a pineapple placed up his rectum, an English bulldog who could speak for some reason, and so many jokes about mammary glands and nipples.
Hey, I like your brassiere.
It's also definitely an advertisement for Popeye's chicken, which is the shiznit.
Popeye's chicken is the shiznit.
Anyway, the CGI in this movie is so bad. I know this movie came out in 2000, but just look at this. The plot of the movie is that Little Nicky is one of 3 sons of the devil, who is quite nice compared to his brothers if it wasn't for that goddamn voice. Anyway, his father, the devil, who is played by Harvey Keitel, is at the end of his 10,000 year reign of hell, but decides he doesn't want any of his sons ruling hell, and wants to continue on the throne for another 10,000 years. This news upsets the other 2 sons, Adrian, played by Rhys Evans, and Cassius, who is played by the late Tommy Lister Jr. Adrian and Cassius decide to escape hell and go to Earth so that they can merge the 2 realms, which causes the devil and hell to fall apart, leaving Nicky to try to save the day by travelling to Earth to capture his brothers and bring them back to hell in a flask.
Get in a flask.
May I help you?
Get in a flask.
What are you talking about, man?
I'm talking about an 8-piece. Let's go.
For what it's worth, I believe the plot was very ambitious, and it landed. The story itself is very unique. Hell's Gates pretty much freezing over, and a fish out of water story about the son of the devil finding humanity within himself, and learning to
Release the good.
So, why do I like this movie? Little Nicky is dumb. I completely understand why someone would just turn it off within the first 10 minutes and never look back. But despite all that, this movie just works for me. First of all, this movie's a time machine. The soundtrack alone immediately plants it in the year 2000. You've got Muse, Deftones, Powerman 5000, Incubus, Linkin Park, and POD. It is aggressively nu metal, and honestly, I love that. Nu metal is probably one of the most overhated genres of music ever, despite how massively popular it was at the time. I think you can even say that nu metal is the Little Nicky of music genres. People mock it, people cringe at it, and people act like it never should have existed. But it was everywhere. It was sincere, and it meant a lot to people. The soundtrack doesn't try to modernize itself or apologize for what it is. It just exists. That confidence makes the movie feel weirdly authentic. Watching Little Nicky feels like being dropped straight into the cultural moment it came from. Another reason I adore this movie is the admiration I have for Adam Sandler for taking such a big risk with it. This is the part I think people forget. Before Little Nicky, Sandler released The Wedding Singer, The Waterboy, and Big Daddy. These were all massive hits, crowd pleasers, safe, reliable, and lovable comedies. Then, he follows them up with a satanic fantasy comedy where he plays the devil's awkward son with a messed up voice. This was such a risky career move. While it obviously didn't work critically, I genuinely admire how weird it is. I would much rather watch something weird than one of his later, more interchangeable rom-coms. Seriously, please tell me the difference between Just Go With It and Blended. Please. Little Nicky is very original. If you love it or hate it, you can't really confuse it with any of his other movies. Another big reason this movie works for me is that everyone commits to the bit. Nobody is acting embarrassed to be here, and everyone fully leans into the nonsense. You've got Chicago songs played backwards to reveal satanic messages.
Chicago. I love this song.
I command you in the name of Lucifer to spread the blood of the innocent.
Oh, my.
You've got Quentin Tarantino showing up as a crazy blind preacher.
Here he goes.
You make the Lord very nervous.
All right.
You also have Little Nicky's weird, evil snoring. You also need to address the insanity of Adrian and Cassius running around Earth trying to corrupt humanity in the dumbest ways possible. And man, I can't even forget to mention the basketball scene. None of it is subtle. None of it is clever. But it is confident. Bad movies become boring when they feel half-hearted. Little Nicky never feels like it's holding back or winking at the audience. It believes in its own stupidity, and that sincerity makes it fun instead of annoying, at least for me. I also think that the side characters elevate everything. A lot of Adam Sandler movies live or die based on the supporting cast, and Little Nicky absolutely nails this. The dramatic roommate, two metalheads, even the random hell characters. They all add a texture and energy to the movie, and they feel like people Sandler genuinely wanted in the film. And honestly, even the love interest works for me. She's someone an Adam Sandler character wouldn't usually fall for. She's sweet, and she brings out the good in Nicky. And while I know some people might find her boring, her reactions are some of the best in the movie. She feels the most real out of any character. She grounds the movie emotionally, which sounds insane to say about Little Nicky, but it's true. She literally brings out the good in him, and that's something that actually matters for the story. At its core, Little Nicky is a very simple underdog story. He's weaker than his brothers, he's underestimated by everyone. He's not built for hell, and he's clearly out of place on Earth. He had no realistic shot at winning, and that's why it's so satisfying when he does. I end up rooting for him every single time. As someone who always gravitates towards the underdog in any kind of media, this just hits for me. Watching Nicky slowly realize he's capable of good, sacrifice himself and still save the day is genuinely satisfying, even if it's wrapped in fart jokes and terrible CGI. I think that is the biggest reason why this movie works for me. Little Nicky is not cynical. It's not trying to crash in on nostalgia or trends. It's stupid, yes, but it's stupid with heart. It tries something weird, commits fully, and doesn't apologize for existing. And I'll take that any day over something polished, focus tested, and completely forgettable. I haven't mentioned this before, but Little Nicky dies a lot throughout the movie. And every time Nicky dies, he immediately goes straight back to hell. That's just how it works. Towards the end of the movie, Nicky sacrifices himself to save Valerie, the love interest, and to take his brothers back to hell. Yes, Nicky successfully captures Adrian and Cassius. When he makes the sacrifice, you fully expect the same thing to happen again. But this time, he doesn't go to hell. He ends up in heaven instead. And weirdly enough, that moment genuinely works for me. The reveal that Nicky's mother's actually an angel adds a surprising amount of heart to the movie. It reframes Nicky completely. He isn't just the devil's weak, awkward son with a speech impediment. He's someone who is always capable of good, even if he never realized it himself. For a movie this stupid, it's a surprisingly sincere payoff. Then, of course, the movie immediately undercuts that sincerity by giving us Carl Weathers as Heaven's golf instructor. And honestly, I love that. It's the perfect example of Little Nicky knowing exactly what it is. The scene doesn't linger or get overly sentimental. It just gives you enough emotion before snapping right back to being ridiculous. The callback to Happy Gilmore is the cherry on top. It's dumb fan service, but it feels earned. It ties together Sandler's weird little universe and keeps the tone consistent instead of pretending the movie's deeper than it actually is. Nicky being sent back to Earth with the magical ball, only to use it to summon Ozzy Osbourne to save the day, is one of my favourite moments in any comedy movie. It's absurd, over the top, and feels like a victory only Little Nicky could pull off. For a movie that looks this rough and tells a story so messily, that emotional beat lands way harder than it has any right to. At the end of the day, Little Nicky is a bad movie. It's messy, a lot of the jokes don't age well, the CGI is rough, and I completely understand why so many people hate it. But it's also fun, original and oddly sincere. It takes a ridiculous idea, commits fully to it, and never apologizes for itself. Everyone involved is trying, even when the result is objectively stupid. And honestly, I will always prefer a movie that swings for something insane and fails, the one that plays it safe and leaves no impression at all. Little Nicky might be a disaster, but it's a memorable one. That's why I can't bring myself to hate this movie. It has heart, it has personality, and for all its flaws, it feels alive in a way that a lot of modern comedies just don't. So this is the first entry in this little series I'm making, and I hope that you enjoyed. If you have a guilty pleasure everyone else hates but you secretly love, let me know. I'd love to talk about it. By the time I post this video, I might be back to posting on Instagram a lot more regularly too, so I hope to see you there.